All right, we're back. Welcome, folks, to Cafe Machina number 8. And subscribe to YouTube and especially Facebook. Every Tuesday, we're doing live streams, so it's going live. Right now, as you can see, we got the homies. We got Georgie. We're back in, and now we got Alon.
What's up, guys?
These two don't know each other at all, so we're all just kind of going at this, and but real quick, I got to do the plug. Major one right now, subscribe on iTunes, because I think our hustle has been on Facebook on the live stream, which is great, but we want to get this thing hyped on iTunes as well. So we need some reviews. You can write whatever, write bad things, but just put 5 stars. You don't have to. If you feel like it was 5-star worthy, it doesn't really matter. But that helps us out a lot. That helps out the growth train, right next to the gravy train.
Perfect.
Right. And I guess follow along on IG as well. That's all the socials we have.
Lots of good stuff coming.
Lots of good stuff.
Lots of fun stuff coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we got some good. I'm happy about the vibes of this show going.
Definitely.
We're working
we definitely
on it.
got some good conversations coming up. So.
Content curation. So we're diving into it. I can feel the echo of this room. We need to foam up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely just the corners.
Yeah, something like that. Show sponsors. LTD Life.
Let's go.
Follow on Instagram, LTD_life.
So first sponsor of the show. They're here. We're not even gonna hype up what you guys do, right? It's
Not yet.
Next one.
The release hasn't happened. Is it season 2?
4th of July.
Really?
No. But we'll be up before.
So it's not.
It's season 2, but 4th of July is gonna be our hard official.
The launch.
Viral.
The grand opening. But you'll open before that, but the grand opening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to party it up.
Okay. LTD. So there you have it. That's that. Also sponsor of the show is Molecule, ONNIT.com. They make supplements. Check them out. Total Human Optimization. Need I say more? Alpha Brain. You guys are on it. God, I always forget to give you guys Alpha Brain. You guys would be so hyped right now.
I need that right now so bad. I need it tomorrow because I got to be up really early.
Okay. We'll hook that up.
All right, I'll be ready for that.
Yes. This Alpha Brain plug that'll be a lot. That'll be good. You too.
Yeah, I need some of that right now.
Yeah. So, and then last one, molecule.com. Actually, we got 2 more, but Molecule, keep it clean, all the suits and stuff, but you can use it for helmets, for anything really that needs cleaning. I use it on my countertops. Hopefully that's
That stuff does magic.
It really does.
Pretty crazy what they can do, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Especially in karting, because you get
all the oil, chain lube.
The chain lube.
Dude.
I remember that, yeah.
Up in the suit.
It was the only one that would get it off of yours.
And very good too. It looks new.
Brand new, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a good company to work with that we have going. They've been
definitely
partnering with me for a while. So, check them out. Use TJ15. That's the code that you need to use. You get 15% off, which would be good.
There we go.
And then we have minus 273. We've talked about on the podcast a lot. Gloves, they help you win. They literally help you win.
Easy
you put them
that.
on. There's 2 steps. You buy the gloves.
How many tenths of a second for those? It's hard to say.
I would say at least 2.
Depends on the track.
Depends on the track. Any track guaranteed 2 tenths.
Dang. That's a lot.
For gloves.
Perfect. I gotta have to get myself a pair of those.
Yo, yeah. I mean, I think they're making a Nomex line now.
Perfect.
No, they're not. They're not not at all. I'm just hyping that up.
Close.
I've been pushing them. To do
Hopefully
it.
they'll watch this.
Because the gloves they are for sure. Chris is a part, but yeah, I've been pushing them a while too because their gloves are sick. They have cool designs. Everybody likes them. And then projecto2.org. Check it out. Asthma awareness campaign, nonprofit work, and we're doing education. So 2018 is getting hyped up for this year and something to follow along with. So check it out. projecto2.org.
Definitely big things come in for all those brands.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good year.
Yeah, and we did the podcast last week with Yoey Jordan.
Oh yeah,
and it's gas half
he's
full
about
journey.
to be on his way now.
So he's just give an update on that. He's fully like invested in the plan that he had.
Pretty crazy, pretty real.
Yeah, it's pretty real. Like he is now like gone from work, which is a big deal for us.
Yeah, we were just saying it's not like he's moving cross country. It's like no text, like nothing, like disconnect. It's gonna be crazy.
Right.
Pretty wild.
It is. It's wild. He's making the move. It is like when you don't have a phone.
That's real.
Yeah. Like I guess he might. Would he bring a phone? Did he say he would?
I doubt it. I mean, we were saying he needed a satellite phone. Remember?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy stuff.
Even if he did bring it, it wouldn't matter. He'd have no service at all.
That kind of adds to the full commit that he's going for.
Full commit. Yeah, which we I don't think we kind of inadvertently did this. I think it was an act of God on the show, but like we were like commitment.
That's true.
That's what it's about.
Just part of the deal with all these sports that we're kind of doing and activities.
Right. And activities. The full commitment. So just, I think he's leaving February 16th is the date.
So coming up quick.
Anyway, so.
Yeah, should we do a little introduction just for the people that haven't, been watching the previous episodes or anything like that? So, my name is Jorge. I've been racing with TJ since we were in karting and through the Formula Car ranks. Just always happy to be back here on the podcast. A lot of fun.
My name's Lon. I'm Jorge's brother. I've always been helping us out with the social media aspect of our careers and learning about that since a young age. So
you're being modest. You're a social media expert.
Yeah. Not the top, but I'm definitely up there.
You're up there. You're an analyst.
Analyst.
A social media analyst expert.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Or an expert analyst.
It's a weird word.
It's a weird word. It's a weird world because we were talking about it today. We talk about it often, but that world is held with a lot of misconceptions. I think what people have.
And it's changing all the time.
Rapidly.
It's like the stuff you studied in school isn't really applicable because like it's all just up and coming. So it seems like the guys that are active on YouTube and stuff are coming up with all these new ways that work, which a lot of the old school people aren't. So it's kind of that's why you see all these like really young people doing really good things in social media. Right. For big companies too. Yeah, no, it's definitely something that it's evolving. We were talking about it, you can't really go to school for it. I don't know if that's helpful. You can. It's got to be from a business point of view, but like at the end of the day, it is always changing. It's you got to be on your toes, and as a person who owns a business or sport, you got to be ready to adapt to things that you might not be that comfortable with. Right. Totally. So I think that's their job as social media guys to make you feel comfortable with. Hey, we're not going to go this route. We're going to go something brand new or different, which is it's pretty cool the way all that stuff is changing. It is. It's changing the ball game. I think we're really lucky to be in LA, because we see a lot of stuff firsthand. Yeah, for sure. We see it as it comes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Imagine being a content creator or social media, what you're doing, right? And you're in Nebraska. Yeah, and I think like a lot of the content creators that start off in Nebraska, random places, they end up coming to LA. Right. They have to come to LA to take the next move in their career. Yeah. Because this is where the people who are going to, make them from this step up, they're in LA. You have to be in LA. You have to be in LA. Why is that? Why do you have to be in LA? Because the, collabs, for example. Collabs. You want to take your, content not just, from yourself. You want to bring it to the next level. You want to meet those people that can push you further. Yeah, it's like racing and going to Europe. We're accustomed to going to Europe because you're going to be paired up with the best teammates. So you're going to learn from the best engineers. And I think from their point of view, it's kind of similar to that. They all kind of accumulate over here like they do in Europe for us. And there's no explanation. It's just tradition has led them there, and it's just kind of kept on. Who knows? Yeah. Yeah, it's what's the move? Is it to, if you are in social media marketing, is the goal to be your own just freelancer type deal, or to be working for a PR firm or something, or a marketing agency? Is that better? Do you even know, is that better pay, or is that better to be freelancer? No, I know the big thing, even Ty Lopez, the guy, this is my Lamborghini. No. Well, whoever does. Hype man. Yeah. He ran ridiculous amounts of YouTube ads
and like everyone knew who he was. And what he was doing was, dude, I'm here in my garage. These are my 2 Lamborghinis.
You've definitely seen
I've
that.
definitely seen
like
that.
my bookshelf,
Yeah.
but I like my
Knowledge.
bookshelf more than my car.
Okay, for example, like whatever.
Yes, I have definitely seen
Whatever.
those.
That guy.
He was advertised, like all that was only to sell his social media marketing course. And in that course, you pay. He became like actually like a millionaire from selling his course, because in that course he taught you how to market
What he
through
did.
social media to companies.
So
Who
that's
knows-
fractal.
Who knows if he did it or not?
What do you mean?
Like he might
Wrote
not
it?
be the expert. Yeah, he was just the guy saying it. Like there's other people that are doing it. It's working. He doesn't have to. He's just out there throwing them ads around, acting like he's the best.
Dang, he's kind of hyped.
Gets
Dude,
in your head.
Yeah.
How much do you think he paid for ads? Does he say? Do you know?
Oh, dude, he like. He doesn't say. Of course, no one says. No one.
What do you
knows,
think?
but-
It's
What do
hard to know.
Is it completely like?
all I know is that it was like a big deal that he was saying that, because it was like a.
He was like the first
would,
of the market on all that.
and as well, like he would fake it. Like he would go and be like in Beverly Hills, like houses which were like for a day, like rented for like.
Oh, really? That wasn't
Yeah.
his.
No, it was
Because he's like saying in his crib, like.
Yeah, he's like, I just got my new house, like house tour.
Yeah.
But it's not his house.
Yeah, he's like, but I don't really want to give you a tour. Like he
Yeah.
kind of brushes over it. It's like, I'll give you a tour, but I don't really want to. I'll just show you my bookshelf
Yeah.
and then my Lambo.
Yeah.
But I like my bookshelf more.
But like
Get outta here.
a million people bought his course and thought they were like, I'm gonna be
Him,
a social media marketer.
guru.
Yeah, I'm gonna make their social medias for all the companies.
How many people do you think second guess that here versus in Arkansas, or insert X out of the place, like out of the know location? Like, do you think that, I guess I'll reframe this. Do you think that like, because we're in LA, because we're around the scene, we get to see a lot of bullshitters too.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people that are faking it until they make it, which is most
Right.
people, right? But then there's legit people too. But the people that are in Arkansas or whatever, they don't know. Like they don't really have that muscle developed to understand when they see bullshit or not.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like that definitely plays a big part. Like maybe like the people who are like trying to get rich quick is more of like the Arkansas or that part of the US. Like, ooh, I want to get rich. Move to Cali.
Move to Cali.
Move to Cali. Like,
I wanna get outta here.
Yeah.
I get that.
And I feel like people like us maybe see that and be like, "You're dumb.
No way.
You're dumb. Like, I'm not buying
Like
any of your courses."
but that's also because we question everything. Like
Right.
we
Us
are always on the
specifically.
contrary.
Yes. This is true.
But
This is true.
No, but for him it worked. Like
It worked really well. Yeah.
That's something that is gonna make like people who want to change think and buy his course.
I think
But
I just
yeah.
heard him down there driving. You hear that?
That was him, yeah.
His
But yeah,
Lambos.
definitely social media it's changing. It's changing a lot.
And it
that
matters.
Yeah, that kind of like leads us into what we were talking about earlier with like drivers or athletes with big images versus guys with big talent, and like why there's guys that are so damn good so damn famous, who on a racetrack or when it comes down to like data or lap time are not necessarily there, but they're huge, like Ken Block, something like that. Or in other sports, you can also name like a lot of people who are like the image,
Yeah.
like Shaun White, but they're not necessarily the best all around, but they're the name.
Right.
And it's just because, well, I don't know why, but they marketed themselves differently than everyone else, and they're big.
Do you think that like Tony Hawk is legit and the best, or
Yeah, I think it was different times. Like he had the video games, he had
he
so
was
much stuff.
huge?
Yeah.
He had so much stuff behind him because we were saying this, like there was no Instagram, no YouTube as recent as like 2005 or 2007.
Right.
So like Tony Hawk, I don't remember when the first like game came out. Like it was for like Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
But it's just different ways of marketing. But at the end of the day, he's the guy that had the video game, you know? So of course he was still like insanely good. Like there's no questioning that. But he became such a big person. He was
Yeah.
so good at his marketing. Whatever he was doing or whatever team he had behind him was like insanely good.
Dude, and that's what's hard about marketing is that you cannot carbon copy his like like say, hey, like Tony Hawk.
Same with anything
now. That I think that's what's
they're
what makes
first
it
to the
hard.
market. Yeah, they're kind of like first to the market on what they're
take advantage of it.
Yeah, like can block, gymkhana, drift, like crazy stuff. Like
right,
Tiger Woods, the golf game,
just golfing in general.
Not the second part. Yeah, Tony Hawk, the video games. Like it's all different stuff.
Huge curveball.
Oh, you're saying
Rob Dyrdek.
Yeah,
he's like claimed,
get up on this.
He claimed he was like a skater, right? Everything. He created his own shoe, DC shoe.
So he is the founder or co-founder, I guess.
Oh, I'm not sure at all, but
I think it's co-founder maybe.
Yeah, they're together.
Rob Dyrdek, the skater, throws out his own shoe, creates Rob Dyrdek like Fantasy Factory. You watch that?
Yeah, totally.
So what was
sixth grade?
What was his like skill? The skating,
the hype,
or the show and the hype and the everything he brought to the like definitely what he brought to the sponsors was more than his skating career. I don't think his sponsors even like they knew he wasn't the best.
Dude, I think he was kind of Garbaggio
at sport. Yeah,
that's like you could see it.
Yeah, for sure. I think he did like a combination. Like how can I become like a big thing with like combining with my sport and like all around everything, like because he had multiple TV shows. He had like Robin Big, like all this stuff that he kind of created through the path.
Yeah,
he was kind of like the originator of like keeping up with the Kardashians.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to like throw something out there that was like so
totally.
But yeah, totally. It's like the Big Brother style lifestyle where they're following you around all day to see what you're up to. But it's skate fun life. Stuff. Yeah, just always up to fun stuff. Like. Which at the end of the day, that's a content creator, which is what it's kind of come down to now.
Right.
Just like always doing content to stay in the loop, to try to make something marketable out of little things.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is Robin Big, you can't do that again.
You can't, yeah. Again, first to the market, that guy on everything.
Yeah. And it evolved like, so much.
Yeah, like the quote you were saying earlier. It's like, I can't remember it exactly.
You want me to read
saying.
it?
Like, yeah, do you have it there?
Mark Twain, some version of, do I have it? Oh, if you find yourself on the side of the majority, pause and reflect.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. Change things up a little bit. I think those guys did. The contrary is like how many people tried that and just didn't do anything out of it. How many people really tried to pivot and go the other way and didn't find help or didn't find the support.
Right.
We'll never know. We only hear the good stories, but I do think those big guys,
dude,
they're
you just nailed a great show.
Perfect.
Is like trying to find, like, is there a way to find the people that failed?
I think they're ashamed, like not ashamed, but they're just quiet about their story. You don't hear them being all bougie out there. Like,
they don't have money.
Faces. Yeah, exactly.
They didn't make it.
So you're not going to find them in LA. You're probably going to find them in Arkansas. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Arkansas.
No hate,
like
guys.
I'm sorry, Arkansas.
We just wrecked you guys.
I don't like. Okay, we said Nebraska, Arkansas. I'm trying to think of good things that came out of there. I got corn from Nebraska, like
cows,
which is debatable at that. Anyways,
mountains.
Nebraska has none. Does it? I think it's flat, right?
Dude, I have no idea.
So LA, just in the bubble.
And then the contrary. Not the contrary, but on that page, you can have someone who's like Lewis Hamilton, who's badass at both.
Yeah,
he's talented as hell, and he's making content like. Every second of the day, he's like doing something cool, like music or snowboarding or jet ski. Like all day, he's just doing stuff, and he's both in a way.
Yeah.
And it's like when he was at McLaren, he was just tied up. Like he was probably the same personality, just wasn't able to like do the stuff he wanted. I definitely think that.
You think that? I mean, I don't know. Like, okay,
for sure, 100%.
Lewis grew up as like this prodigy of a driver,
right?
From like. Day 4.
Yeah.
Maybe day 1, 2, and 3. He spent kind of like getting after it a little bit. Yeah, like going into tire barriers often, and like You like popping chains and shit. Grinded out sprockets. Like forgot to tighten the sprocket.
Which was our whole career.
Yeah. Never got past that.
Still popping chains.
I think in my like 4th year of karting, my dad was my mechanic. Bless him. He was a great, like, for not having any like real mechanical background.
Yeah.
He's great. But we were just hustling one time, going like cart to cart, and we were literally taking the tires off of the cart that was just on and like switching it to the other cart, which was Garbaggio also. And like, it was just to run, you know? And like, we didn't like tighten the hub on the like enough. And it like, I go into turn 2 and it just like, it was like a pendulum effect. like just fling. It just soared.
And your vision followed it.
Yeah, like as I'm like, yeah, my dreams slipped away in that spin.
Perfect.
And it was like, we need to rethink things. It was a good defining moment. But day 1, 2, and 3 was like that for Lewis. Day 4 was Prodigy. My point is, he was groomed so much. Do you think he actually
like brainwashed kind of, you think?
Yeah, like that's your experience of like, what? It was 10 years old? You think it was like 10 years old?
Yeah. From then on. Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 years old, and he's like this McLaren prodigy. How's he going to be a rapper? Like based off of what? You know, you are racing.
But I think everybody's got all these passions, and like not just one, but
it's true.
Even at like in my case in racing, like I was never in that position Lewis was in where he's that locked down, but there is still a lot of things I wouldn't do or I wouldn't publish just because I didn't want to like give the wrong impression. You know what I mean? Like
that's true.
I was pretty quiet about a lot of things. Like I was still doing the things I liked and I do today, but just on a really low key basis. And I think maybe Lewis was still doing some of those, you know, cool things that he's doing right now. Not just, he wasn't able to dye his hair blonde if he didn't want to. He was under a pretty strict eye. So,
with McLaren?
Yeah, definitely.
They totally, yeah.
And I think like, yeah, like in other sports, there's a lot of athletes who I think as well would be pretty conservative on what they're showcasing.
Yeah.
You know, they have a cool story.
They can't tell it.
Yeah.
For Lewis, do you think his success his recent success led to him changing and like becoming the new Lewis?
Good question.
I think it's him leaving McLaren. Don't you?
But nothing to do with like winning the world championship.
He's already 2-time world champion. I think it does, but I feel like he's always had that kind of spine that he's been wanting to take out. And like, why else would he leave McLaren? They're the guys that made him. You know, it's got to be just contract issues that, you know, I want to go do stuff beyond racing. I don't just want to be Lewis the racer. I want to be Lewis the artist. You know, the
artist.
Lewis Hamilton. Yeah.
I mean, I think probably a combination of both. I really want to know who tipped him to go to Merck, to know like
it's going to be good.
It's going to be good in 2 years. Wait out that year, go through the growing pains.
Like,
you're going to have a good time.
A mix of everything.
You're going to enjoy life way better because we're not going to, you know, creative content control, like that type of thing. Like be you, whatever that is now. That's part of the thing is like, there's always that, you know, when you swing one way. McLaren is someone that like, it's strict guidelines. Right. Probably you shouldn't even have a social media. Like if you want to keep that ride, you already got it. Why have a social media? Right.
Stay quiet. Yeah.
Stay quiet. Don't just don't mess it up. Like I think Stoffel Van Dorn is probably like that. I don't see him being.
He's
loud.
Pretty quiet. Yeah. Like, do you know him? Anything about him as a person?
Not really.
I've seen like a couple like.
Seems nice.
Yeah, just because I follow like other drivers that he hangs out with that are like lower formula. They post stories of like him. And I mean, he seems like you and I. He's a cool dude. He's always like, I just saw like he's out in Miami. Like he's got a McLaren that the company gave him. But you don't see that.
No, he bought it.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. But you don't see it through his social media. I only saw that because I like stumbled through it like with people I follow that follow him, and I kind of led to seeing them, but not from his point of view, from other people's point of view. But it's like you wouldn't know that he's like a human. It's like he's a robot driving that car.
Yeah, it's just an algorithm posting
seems like a badass dude just out there like doing the same stuff like Lewis. Well, not to that extent, but like and
relatively
and like having fun like we do. You know,
maybe snowboards.
Exactly. Yeah, you never know. Like all that cool stuff. It's just like how much of it's covered away. You never know.
I saw a thing of him surfing. Like I'm like, yo, he's from Belgium.
Right.
How does he know how to surf? And like, I want to see if he can do it well. Like, he's from Belgium.
Why don't they show that
They
stuff?
don't
Like, I
have
feel like
waves.
people are into that now.
They have-
Like,
All right, so
Yeah.
why do you think Red Bull pushes like they put like F1 cars in the snow, try to make the most viral video possible. Have you seen them?
Yeah,
definitely.
totally.
So
That Max Verstappen one.
Yeah, like they try
More.
to push like Max Verstappen like viral and put an F1 car in crazy like conditions.
Right.
No other team does that.
At all.
So do you think that's a technique? And like,
yeah, I had the luck or whatever to be with one of the guys from Red Bull last week. He is one of the guys in marketing over there, and he was just saying about when it was like 2000. I think it was like 2008 he was talking about, and it was when they had, I believe it was Cool Tour, I might be wrong, but they were doing a bunch of tours through like South America, taking the F1 cars and doing stuff like what you're saying, like, you know, different events, shorter activations, and it kind of ties back into like what we were saying about like easy to consume, something that's easy to consume, easy to watch. That you don't actually have to understand F1 to its entirety to be like, wow, this is super cool.
I think that's the goal.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they're brands that aren't selling to F1 fans. They're brands that are selling to the whole population.
Right.
So they have to make it like a little bit different. And he was also saying this was a really tough time for them because it's when Red Bull wasn't very quick. So they were trying to do things differently. And they didn't have like the authority to be like, we're the top dogs. We can do whatever we want. So they're doing things differently. Things weren't necessarily the quickest. Their drivers were doing different stuff.
Like, talking about Red Bull, right?
Yeah, Red Bull.
Totally.
And I mean, now they can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever
Nobody's
they
going to
want.
question them because they're quick. And Max can be the young guy, the different guy, teamed up with Ricciardo, the fun guy, and it works because they're fast. But like, that must have been a tough time trying to change things up. And they're not getting results. Like, the sponsors, like everyone they're aligned with.
No, that's a great point. They were seriously like, they were trying to be the Uber of Formula One.
Yeah.
But they were lacking
But they had the long-term plan.
They had the long-term plan, but it could easily not work out. What if you don't get an Adrian Newey into the program? I don't know. Was he there from the start at Red Bull?
I don't know. I'm sure he was actually, but I'm not.
Because I mean, initially, that kind of messed up the long term. Then, if initially like the car is not coming together, they're not quick. How are you gonna justify the fact that when we get Adrian Newey, we already have him?
Right. That's kind of like a big gamble.
Yeah, there's a big gamble, especially if it's not working. And maybe he's saying, get the engine. But
that's a really good like introduction to like easy to consume stuff. You know, like all of these guys we're talking about, like the really, really popular guys, they have stuff that's easy to consume. Like you don't have to understand skating to play Tony Hawk on, video games. You don't have to understand racing to watch Gymkhana. And like everybody knows who Lewis Hamilton is. These are three names we're just throwing out there, but you can kind of follow
Jeff
this for
Gordon,
everything.
Lewis Hamilton,
exactly,
kind of Tony Stewart, sometimes for the wrong reasons with that incident. But who's another one?
Well, I mean, like in any sport, you can find a skater.
But
like,
find racing though. Who are the standout like
Kimi Räikkönen?
What's his name? 48?
Kimmy, but I don't think anybody knows him.
Different.
The reason why Kimmy is popular is because racers adore his ability to not care at all
and have like that different.
It's like he's like he's not even the Uber. He's like something.
Let's
like
hear
the
your
dark
best
side.
Kimi Räikkönen impression.
Oh God,
the car was good. Everything was good. Yeah, thank you.
The car was good.
Killed it.
Let's hear it.
Thank you, everybody.
Mic drop.
All right. So tell me why I'm on Instagram, right? And I get tagged by the randomest non-car like guy. A video of Mad Mike, Formula Drift driver, ripping through the hills. Nothing to do with his racing. And the caption is like Mad Mike 2017.
But they never tag you in like
and the friend just tagged me like, oh, this is cool. Like, oh, he likes cars. So he's doing something right?
By just getting one of your friends?
Because it's the guy that doesn't even know what Formula Drift is. But it's only a Formula Drift driver who's like kind of like getting that audience huge.
it's a publicity stunt. Like you could have that shot of Mad Mike through the canyons, which we could do it like as well. Like, you know, that
You just
drift
get used
is
to
not
the
very
slip.
technical. And then you could have like the contrary, like a shot of like the perfect parabolica, like Formula One, like, you know, perfect on the limit, like not a tenth more. But to the average eye, it just like
It just looks like it's on rails. In
yeah.
Formula One,
it does look like on rails.
it looks like on rails. Like, honestly, I would even look at it and be like,
you could
what's
argue
going on
that the Formula One is a lot. There's so much more to it. Like,
There's
it's
so much.
the team, but you have to get so invested to understand that, and like we appreciate it a ton. But
Yeah.
like parabolica right on the white line, and then Mad Mike, it's like anybody can see that and be like, "Whoa, that's just so damn cool,
dude." The intricacies of like, I don't know. This is why I love Formula Car racing, just in general. But the intricacies of it are astounding. I mean,
It
honestly,
is, yeah.
like
you
doing,
can get so deep into
you
it.
can get so deep. I mean, when we're doing data from the oval this past year, it was like, and I know this is probably pretty commonplace if you're very experienced on ovals, but it was my first time going there, right? And like one of the main things that we're looking at is like the steering angle at about half to 3/4 mark going through 3-4 or 1-2 or whatever turns, 3-4 1-2, and you're like analyzing why you're not like opening up and moved up half a lane already. And it's all about like reducing scrub a certain amount as you're like moving up the track. And sure, you know, the whole effort is to just create the least resistance possible if you're trying to go in a straight line. But it's very counterintuitive to just, the car already wants to turn left. Like an oval car is set up.
Yeah, like offset. Yeah,
It's offset. Like you have the cambers all messed up. You have the toes, you know, like one's toed out, one's toed in. So it looks like it's just wanting to turn left. You literally have to turn right to go straight. You have to keep the car constantly like at a like, dude, I want to go straight. Like, stop it. And it's just like, no. Like literally, when you come in pit lane, you're like trying to like pop it in neutral.
Do you
the
walk
neutral
crooked
cable.
for like a week after that?
You're like all,
Like all twisted.
you're all messed up. Like pit in, like flicking your neck,
Trying to drink water, like pouring it on your shoulder.
rolling down your eye. Like why? I don't know, but it's the intricacies of it. They go so deep. It's pretty cool. Like when you turn in, it's like you wait. You cannot even 10 meters at 150 miles an hour.
Nothing. Yeah.
It's nothing. It makes such a difference in the corner. When you apex on an oval, the whole corner is an apex.
Yeah.
What point are you going to hit it? At what angle? You could hit it at the same exact point, but if you're at a different angle.
And what about this? Like with that theory you just said, when you dig deep into like Tony Hawk and like his 900, I don't know what you call it.
It was 900. That was what made him popular, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Imagine how technical that is. Like,
probably.
Your speed coming down was a little bit slower, so you didn't get the pop in the. I bet, but from a consumer point of view, they make it really, really
easy.
really easy.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure all of these like pros, like even
You just
Mad
digested.
Mike.
You just got something. You had an idea.
What?
You had an idea. Go ahead.
I was just
even Mad
adding to
Mike.
it.
But yeah, like even Mad Mike, I'm sure from a technical point of view, it's like insane. Like the production, the helicopter shots, like everything is just so hard to put together. But they make it easy to consume, and that's why like it can get 20 million views.
Yeah.
Like I think like X Games, you see
They're the kings of that.
3 years ago, Torstein Horgmo landed the first triple cork, right? So that's 3 corks in a row in the air. Big air snowboarding.
It's like backflip 360.
And then now, last year, Marcus Cleveland lands the quadruple cork. So I think they ended that like
No more corks.
Yeah, like that. There's no more corks. Like I don't know, maybe like I have no like I'm not good enough at snowboarding to know this, but
It's like, nah, dude, I'm working 5.
yeah, but like
come on.
for the normal guy to be watching, they saw that, we're like, nice.
That's
X
it.
Games is like the best. But it's
I
not
always see corks at X Games.
right, but it's not like it's more of like a for the people to watch, easy to understand.
Yeah, like
nice, cool trick.
Easy
3
rules.
3 corks, 4 corks, 5. I don't care.
Yeah.
If that's what won it for him, dope. It must be cool.
Yeah.
It must be the best.
We don't question it. Yeah, we don't quite. We're not like, nah.
Yeah, like give
I can do
judges offer an extensive CV, you know, like on the screen just before like say like, oh, we got, you know,
Do you think that's
Jeremy
why NASCAR
McGrath as like, you know, like the judge for like big air, like motocross, whatever it's called. What's it called? I don't know. Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But the big air, like
Motocross?
One trick.
Yeah. When Travis Pastrana did the double backflip.
Yeah, like the one
that's
trick.
Like
Yeah. And like you just offer like CVs that are super extensive. And so all of a sudden, like nobody is questioning it. The people that race motocross are the ones that are like, dude, that dude's garbage.
Yeah.
He shouldn't even be judged. Like,
Right.
get him out of there. But like his voice isn't heard because he's obviously sour. He got bad judge. He's not getting famous.
Right.
And so all the people they're just like, you know, obviously these guys are legit. So
Right.
Travis Pastrana.
Giving people it goes back to just giving people what they want to see.
Simple to digest.
What about NASCAR? Easy to digest.
Easy, is it?
Not globally.
It is pretty easy.
What's the
Easier to digest than Formula One. Like
Totally.
Formula One's amazing once you dig into it.
Yeah,
But
and I was
it
gonna
takes time.
like to go full circle, not to be a pun, but with the ovals, like, okay, if you watch my onboard from Gateway, it looks so stupid. Like you're like,
Like
yo,
nothing going on.
there's actually, what are you doing? Like, why did you go to a race weekend to like barely turn left? Like seriously.
But it's on edge. It's like
Like you have to, part of it, you have to be there. Like you have to experience concrete walls. You have to know what those feel like.
for sure, yeah.
The fear,
Vision.
the vision, the largeness of the oval.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that, but like you really can't.
Very few people will be able to relate. Which
Right.
is
And like definitely most of the people who go out to a NASCAR race, it's the one closest to them. They go eat hot dogs, have
As
a
an
beer,
experience.
have a beer with and like their kids are there. They go see
Right.
the cars go around.
And give their kids some beer.
There's
Right.
people that are really passionate too, though.
NASCAR,
and then
for-
Passionate.
Then there's that like small percentage, I think, of the ones who like know what's
but
up.
that's a bigger percentage than the percentage that IndyCar has about passionate fans.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why is that?
NASCAR fans are insane. Like the few
Dude,
races
they're
I've
so-
gone to,
Yeah.
they're so passionate. They're like, it's almost like
And
They have their Jeff Gordon. They have their
Yeah.
all their clothes, you know?
right,
everything.
the tattoo.
The whole kit. Yeah.
Dude, how many people are getting tattoos of IndyCar drivers right
it's
now?
zero.
And it's not to knock them.
I don't know. Maybe one out there.
There might be a couple.
Send your pictures to TJ's Instagram.
DM me with your tattoos. Your-
1,000 likes and TJ will get a tattoo of Jeff Gordon on his arm. 1,000 likes.
1,000.
Retweet.
a subtle tattoo. Like just an outline.
Just one with the word Jeff Gordon.
Do you know how douchey that would be if I walk around like, oh, what do you do? Like
A car. NASCAR.
Race car.
Jeff
A
Gordon.
NASCAR on there.
That'd be ridiculous. But honestly, like people, Dale Earnhardt, that was a hero,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know? And I know that like there's
There's the equivalent in open wheel.
the equivalent there, or at least there should be
Right.
of, and this gets into back to our point about the really talented athletes, the ones that are so like, and this relates to performers too, artists,
Right.
singers, even like we were talking about a little bit, but models versus photographers,
Yeah.
you know, and this dichotomy of people that get, one gets the notoriety, the viralness,
Yeah.
if
The
it
face
were
of it. Yeah.
the face of the whole thing. Like they experience the 4 million to 10 million views. They get the 100,000 followers. Yet there's someone in the background that's
There's so many in the background. Yeah, you're right.
like, what was the one person you were talking about earlier this
It was
week?
one of the songwriters for Ariana Grande, and we were like amazed. Like she showed us like how they like work on the song first before the singer even comes into play, and it's like, wow, this is insanely good. Like this sounds just like what we hear on the radio, but it's like that person's not famous, and they're not like
like not famous at all.
at all. Yeah, like 500 followers or like very low key life, and
Right.
they're as good, and they're doing all the hard work. Not to bash on the big guys either. They have a lot on their plates, but why not them?
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, you're thinking like, okay, at the end of the day, it's a song.
Yeah,
The song, that's pretty much all it's centered around. it's like you're a race car driver. That's what you do. So you have a stunt double every time you race. That seems crazy to me. I mean, it does, right?
Yeah, like being the face, but
Like
not the person taking the battle.
yeah,
It's almost what that sounds like.
or at least maybe it could be related to like a, like a marketing guy that like markets a race car driver to get
Does
sponsorships.
the back work.
Yeah, and they just show up and race.
Yeah, I think what it would really relate to would be a test driver, which they're kind of a thing of the past now. But like back in the day, when there was like more or less, yeah. Like I remember like back in the day when it was like the person I talked to was Alex Wirtz. There was two teams basically. There was the test team with its truck with its 2 cars, and then there was the race team. So like as the race team was going to race meetings, the test team was pounding laps, like because there was no ban. So there was literally 2 teams for the same team.
Wow.
So back then there was like legit 2 like test drivers.
Wow.
So they were doing in all the, running the crappy front wing, the sketchy floor, while the Formula One driver was, drinking champagne on that weekend, waiting for his race weekend. So it was like, I think that's kind of relatable. Shame that's gone, but.
Is it because the testing bans?
Yeah, the testing bans and like.
Just the team overall cannot do it.
They're not allowed to.
Yeah. It's not just like, oh, your drivers can't run.
Right.
All right. Now, going back to that song thing you were talking about, do you think like if the small person were to get that jump that maybe Ariana Grande would have gotten, then she could have been in that position? Or what do you think it takes?
Did she have Ariana Grande's look?
I think it's the whole package.
I don't know if and does the person want that too?
That's true.
Who knows? I think like people like Ariana Grande are
There's not a lot of people that don't.
Yeah, but are they willing to put it on the line though? Like they did? You see like all these like for example YouTubers who are huge, they post a video a day. It's easy once they have 1 million followers, but it's not easy to post a video a day every day when you have 10 people watching your stuff and a bunch of haters in the background from your hometown like trying to sniff exactly what you're doing. So I think it's like do they say they want it, but do they actually have like the grind to do it every day and like
let's talk about that
through the grit?
Let's talk about that. How do you like deal with both of yous? How do you deal with that like inherent, I don't know if you call it pressure, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of boldness, right? You're going like it used to be considered an alternative job, right? Something that's like, you're not going to college.
Right, yeah.
You are going to college. And you're an expert before going to college, but you are essentially like, you're doing something that like, you're not hammering nails, it's like, it's whimsical. It's like, what are you actually doing? Kind of like, that's how a generation above us would look at it.
Yeah.
Or 2 generations, something like that. But like, it's very like, I don't even, yeah.
I think like people like in general, always, like if you're doing something different, then they're going to question it. Like even if like until it's working out like 100%, they're just because it's not the normal.
Right.
Even if it's like not something like you're wearing something different. You're like making different type of music, then they're gonna question it. Like probably for you guys too, like being like racing, like definitely the normal people, like everyone else following the same path. Definitely.
Yeah, you're gonna have the haters like, oh, he should be in school, he should be getting an education.
Yeah.
Or like he's just not like that good.
Yeah. And, like,
how do you deal with that? How do you do it? Like,
I think that's irrelevant though. Like, maybe I don't know.
Someone thinks I'm good.
It doesn't.
Or at least
it doesn't matter.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if the general population thinks you're good. In my opinion, for our case,
right.
What matters is like the data and like what the teams are, perceiving and like the sponsors. So like, if the mass media thinks, of course it matters, but like. I don't feel like you have that pressure of like performing. It's more the pressure of like doing something different.
So
in a way,
yeah.
Like for that, like on that case, we can talk about
get back
like,
in the shot.
Someone
what are you
like
doing out there, huh?
Yeah, I don't know
what are you doing out there?
I don't know what I'm doing. All right,
podcast pro.
Someone like Ken Block,
yeah,
who's making viral videos. Maybe not like just like we talked about earlier. Maybe not the best driver in global rallycross,
right?
But he's making viral videos. He's got the best sponsors. He's got Hoonigan all over. And
what is Hoonigan? If people don't know, I don't really know exactly what. It's just car stuff.
Like we don't know
media.
Exactly. No, I think it's like.
It's like a lifestyle. It's like
I think it is like a
LTD.
Team.
Yeah.
I think it's like a team thing, but
LTD is gonna overtake Hoonigan.
The next Hoonigan.
Yeah, but like okay,
Hoonigan.
whatever. I know like a lot. I feel like a lot of people know what Hoonigan is, and I feel like Hoonigan picked up Ken Block not because he's the best driver, not because he got like podium finish.
Oh yeah,
but because of what he was building as a brand.
I mean, we were kind of going down that line of like, what was his career path? Ken Block's, you know.
That's what we were looking at. It's such a strange like jump. It's like
it's very
2004 started painting, 2005 sells $1 million painting, like just huge step into like from amateur racing to Subaru factory drive.
It doesn't really. I wish Wikipedia would give more on like co-founder of DC. That's what Ken Block is.
Yeah. Going back a little bit to the hater too, like I actually saw a little bit firsthand. It was can't remember the name of the guy. One of the rally guys. Throw some big rally guy names.
Pastrana?
Like, not him, not Block. One more.
Faust.
Yeah, it was Faust. So Faust was running a kart race at the PRI kart race. And I remember like sitting in the driver's briefing with a bunch of cards and being like,
did you do that?
He's so slow. Yeah.
You did it?
Yeah. And I remember.
How was it?
It was a super cool event. We got to race with a bunch of like the big dudes, which were, from other series.
Did you send it? You
hard
people?
But yeah, back to that point. I remember saying like sitting with people and they were like, he's so terrible. Like this guy races everything and he's 6/10 off. But like in the future now, like that guy's driving a different car every weekend. And he's 6/10 off the
It's pretty incredible, yeah.
So, like, it doesn't matter what, like, we think. Like, we could be like, oh, he's terrible. He's marketable. So, it's like he's doing cool stuff. He's racing here. He's racing there. It doesn't matter that he's finishing, like, 13th and then goes to Rallycross and finishes 6th and then goes to this and does, whatever. What's cool is, like, he's just around and doing cool stuff. So, like, whether or not he was the fastest every weekend doesn't really matter. It's just...
and he does the drift too.
He does everything. Yeah,
I think
he's around.
I think it depends on the person,
specifically that's critiquing or the driver.
The driver, like just in the pure sense of like, I know that I'm a competitor at heart. Like,
right.
I would hate if I saw a timesheet and like
you're not P1.
Yeah, and you see like a delta of 6/10 in karting. You're like, oh shit. Like, but I obviously like overstepped.
Yeah.
If your goal going into it though was I'm going to be like maybe not the quickest.
That's amateur goals.
But I think that's
maybe their big goals are market
viral.
I want to be like
I want to create a viral onboard.
Or just I want to
So I'm going to punt some people this race.
No, I think you never know.
You never know, man. Like cuz that could like seriously don't do this.
Do you know what his biggest... I remember... Do you know what his biggest setback would have been? Try to guess.
Who?
Faust's that weekend in a cart. Hopping into a cart for a race. Why he didn't win, for example. Like why... What his reasoning for that was.
Himself?
And this is just a strong rumor, but like everybody's saying this. It was fitness. It was actually fitness in the go-kart.
Really?
Yeah. And I believe it too. Like I can imagine like you do a bunch of other racing.
Yeah, for sure.
Head into a go-kart, you're going to be like... Oh,
yeah, a couple laps, it's over.
It's a 45-lap race.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How long was the lap?
Like, not very long, like 30 seconds or something. But
yeah, but
still,
45-lap race, that's more
always turning. Small track.
Street, kind of.
Yeah, I was in
it's like barriers.
Yeah.
Plastic ones.
Yeah. They definitely have to have different goals, coming to those weekends. They're not, in it to sweep the weekend. They're in it to try to do something memorable.
Like punt a guy?
Just whatever,
Just get some viral.
Get up there, do cool stuff. Have presence in different markets, different events. Even though he wasn't the quickest, he had the most people around him.
Do you think that like someone like that is maybe not Tanner Faust specifically, but anybody that like shows up for a go-kart race after having not go-karted for 5-10 years? They're like, man, back to the roots. Hashtag back to the roots, recharging the batteries. Like off for summer break, recharging the batteries. Everybody, seriously, like I got to stop seeing like Formula car guys from Europe. Mostly it's Europe, but there's some America too that like it just transitioned over for whatever reason. There's not even a summer break. But like after one race, it's like recharging the batteries. We have to have a new caption. We have to.
Could they have a new attitude on it? Like maybe draining the batteries for the change
next
one word.
Yeah, like I want to instead drain my batteries so that I'm now experienced for the next race. Because if I'm gonna like recharge them, probably unless you're like a Buddhist monk, you're gonna think about the next race for the next 3 months.
Can you imagine such a weird thought? But like I don't know when drifting was invented. But imagine like being at the track, like tuning your car, like all perfect, like apex, and then just seeing like somebody like whop, 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 like through the like
this asshole,
defying all.
What
laws.
would you say? Like you'd be like, what is that guy
No
doing?
laws of
like,
physics.
You kind of think he's cool though too.
I think
I would. I think it'd be like disturbing to my peace.
Yeah, I'd be like,
what are you doing?
It's like 8 a.m.
To me, drifting looks like compare like Michael Phelps like with a perfect stroke to like somebody just splashing water like all like over everyone.
The best splasher.
No,
it's like the cannonball contest. It's a cannonball contest.
I think it's
Michael Phelps versus a cannonball.
Who would people watch? You have a pool with like 100 people around it. You have Michael Phelps doing laps without like the hype of his name.
Yeah.
Like just somebody doing cool laps. Versus a belly flop competition. Who would everybody watch?
If nobody could talk,
if
nobody could talk, for sure the Gainer Cannonball would win. 10 out of 10.
We should remarket sports.
Yo, because seriously, like, I think part of like I was just thinking about why would I watch Michael Phelps? Like if you knew nothing about the swimmer and nobody could talk,
it'd be so boring.
Because normally what would happen is if it's quiet and you don't know who it is, you would ask like what's going on, and like somebody's like, yo, that's a 3-time goal, whatever he is now, but let's say before that,
and then
because you don't know. Yeah, and he's like he's like beating a guy that's like from Russia, and you're like, whoa,
but you
like
see a guy about to go for a belly flop, and no questions asked.
No question.
You're there with your phone.
Yo, it's like I could probably beat that.
With
but
a
I don't think I
drifter.
can.
A drifter's the same. You see a Le Mans car or a prototype going around Buttonwillow. It doesn't look that exciting from a spectator point of view.
A racer, they're like.
Still,
but
still not
kind of, but sometimes like you're like, I'm thinking LMP1.
A drifter, you see him and you're like, is he gonna go?
Like the whole time you're like biting.
And then next time you're like, is he gonna go bigger? Is he gonna go bigger? And like
I remember even going like when I was a kid, I'd go to the IndyCar like races, and like in between like races,
keep talking. You gotta talk for a while.
There'd just be the random Formula Drift guy. You remember that?
Yeah, it was good times.
But did we know anything?
Not at all.
Zero. We knew.
I only
nothing.
started knowing the rules like a month ago.
No, but
up until that, I would just watch.
Exactly. Like I would see him like holding through the straight, like holding it like a drift, and then he'd hold it all the way to the next corner. Like my dad didn't know anything about it. We didn't know anything about it.
It was just cool to watch.
And still, like after, we'd go and like look at the cars and be like just as impressed. Maybe it's because we were as knowledge before, but. Yeah, we were still there to watch IndyCar, but when they came out, it was kind of cool.
But racing. Sure.
Maybe we can even like throw that into like stadium super trucks. Stadium super trucks. What's the purpose? Nothing. Like
no manufacturers, no tuning, no engineers, same car for everyone. Hell of a spectacle. Yeah, easy to digest.
The crowd loves it.
Manufacturers in it.
No manufacturers. You qualify. You start the race in reverse grid. It's made for hype. Yeah,
dude,
it's how they run.
It's made, yeah, dude. It's made.
So you qualify and you get points for qualifying. So that's why you don't just qualify last. And then you start the race reversed. And then there's competition caution.
Is there more points for finishing well versus?
I think like your optimal points. Like I'm not exactly sure, but I think the best you can do is fourth and fourth. Fourth in the race, fourth in qualifying. Because like if you qualify pole, you're gonna start from last. Chances are you won't make it back up.
Why not?
I don't know. That's somebody like told me that like
it's like impossible.
But like I know like Sheldon Creed, he's on like the Traxxas. He's on the best team, and what puts the best race is he starts last and he passes literally every single guy, and ends up in first, and that makes the race 10 times better because he's in third place. And there's 2 laps left, so he's just tossing it.
But again, people don't know that.
Tossing it, yeah.
But they see someone tossing.
It's just easy to digest. Like,
last lap,
Like,
the
no way.
biggest, like just the biggest air, dude, and just
Why is that
flipping.
guy going from last?
He
Like,
flip. He does
yeah,
a front flip, lands it,
It's no,
Keeps
it
going.
doesn't land it, dude. It's like the straightaway, like last lap,
bounces.
and he just flips, and it's like the people, woo, like so much better than IndyCar.
yeah,
like,
finishes
like,
ninth
yeah, dude.
overall.
And I think
But he has 9 billion followers.
yeah.
In a fully tubed car with like a V8 crate engine.
Right.
And then the IndyCar race, which is like $1 million, priceless cars with top of the line everything, is like, okay.
And then they go and race at an oval and they turn in,
Yeah.
lift off like
For the people with no audio, with no video, 1 degree hand from TJ.
like it, yeah,
with that noise.
where like you would have to like it's like a grunge metal band for like Sheldon Creed. Like I'm not gonna do it.
Like screamo.
Yeah, it's like it's over the top. That's a great point.
So yeah, those guys.
It's easy to digest.
Yeah, I think we can pinpoint that what they have different, those guys, is they're creating something that's marketable and easy to digest.
So in some respects, you have to admire that because it's like it's transforming the sport. It gets more followers of the sport.
Yeah.
And hopefully the people they bring in then notice what you're doing and they become a fan and then they realize like, oh, Georgie Cevallos is like really badass. He's good. He can do X amount of things. He like beats this guy who's really famous, and like they see that. So in a way, it's admirable. It brings them to the sport.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, as a driver, it's hard to wrestle with that because I just know like my competitive instinct is like win at all costs. Like you like be competitive. Like don't just show up to a series and be like fifth.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on,
Yeah,
what is like it's not the goal. So why do it? It's not a good move. So it's hard to wrestle with the two of those. And I don't really know what breeds that like those two different styles of drivers. One that kind of is just like making it on racing and the other is like making it on everything.
Right.
Like the marketing and the racing and the marketing.
Let's like connect this like a little bit to social media.
Yeah, we should.
Like what we were talking about earlier. Who are the athletes that are like killing it on both games? Not only are they the best, but they're also have the fan base, the fans, just like Lewis Hamilton, I guess. Now
Lewis Hamilton
is
the answer.
So let's talk about not only
Mediterranean Tomlinson.
Inside joke.
Arabian
Real quick,
Tomlinson.
inside joke.
All right, so and not only like
31.
drivers and athletes, but also like how like everyone's kind of moving to social media to attract bigger audiences.
Yeah.
I think this ties in really well to don't try, like if you're a race car driver, don't try to do what Ken Block's doing, because unless you can do it better than him and you have a bigger budget, then you're not first to the market. So
And he has the biggest budget.
Yeah, I think it's like finding your own kind of niche and your own way, which is not identical to everyone else, is gonna do you wonders. Because you have like completely away from sport, like you said, go towards like YouTubers. You have the really big guys. If you have somebody trying to do exactly what they're gonna do, nobody's gonna stop watching the big guys to watch you. They're gonna stay watching their the big guys.
Yeah.
You got to kind of do something a little bit different, and
And that's I don't know if we like touched on it specifically, but like Gymkhana is the most outright version of just easy to digest, binge watching. Like
let's watch 8 hours of this.
this like in the background
without paying that much attention.
Yeah, but then like, oh, you see that? That was dope.
Yeah,
it's just like and then like Gymkhana, for example, they do their shots until it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's not like, ooh, first try, he killed it.
Yo, but their transition is seamless.
Exactly.
How do they do that?
So good.
Do you know?
Experts? No.
Just take a look at the road, though. You can see
you can
35 tire marks.
And he does, like, he had a bridge, for example, on one. He had a ship, and on the other side was ocean. And he had, like, the air tank ready, in case he fell into the ocean. But they did it until it was this much tire off. And then once they got it, boom, next job. Boom. But the people see full throttle and then just sends it right like off a bridge, then the people are gonna be pumped.
Yo, check this out too. I was watching a video on completely irrelevant, but it was Jake Paul saying like how he films his vines, and like this was back when it was Vine. He was like, I would look so ridiculous at the supermarket because I'm really picky on like my vine looking perfect. So he's like, I would do the same thing, like smashing a carton of milk on the ground 40 times, and people were just looking because I wasn't famous back then. He's like, I wasn't famous. He's like, I was just looking like the biggest idiot, but I knew like it had to be perfect. So like Ken Block was doing that over and over again. But now imagine that when you're not famous.
In
like,
a social setting too.
Yeah.
Like at least he's in
or
like
even
some...
not in a social, even in a professional setting, like just being different before you're big is hard.
That's true.
Super hard.
And I think like some people take advantage of like, not only are they good, but they take advantage of the social media, like when they're good. Like for example, Travis Pastrana, I was like a big fan, not because he was the best, because he had the show. He had Nitro Circus. I went to the X Games to watch him do like I was there at the double backflip.
Yeah, you can see it like in row 3, just like so hyped along.
Yeah.
Like,
Here comes. But because I was like,
he's the guy chest bumping him on the
no, I was there with my flip phone, like when I was like
LG
10 years old. Dude, I was like
the
filming.
LG plug.
And then
Throwback.
and then after that, like I was like Nitro Circus fan for life. That's what I like. That's what I want.
That was bad.
Exactly. But like that's what I'm saying.
TP.
Like they're good, and then also they're making big moves. Social media, TV, everything. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Now, like, how can we like change this to like new, like kind of newer businesses? That's what I was thinking too. Like newer businesses, newer projects that are coming out, and they're kind of like millennial people.
Yeah.
Controlling them, and then leveraging social media to beat the rest, which is kind of like what Red Bull's doing.
Right. You're Ubering the
Uber, yeah.
That's so dope that Uber, like, they're such a game changer that, like, they are now the standard of referencing. Or maybe it's just me, but, like that's always how you reference, like, a game changer is, like, yo, someone stepped in. They're, like, the Uber of whatever. That's cool. Anyways.
You know, it's crazy, too. This is a fun fact, but, like, how old do you think Red Bull is as a company? This was, like, crazy for me. It's like around 30 years old.
I was gonna say 25, 30.
It's pretty new for how big of a company it is. They were telling me like in the early 2000s, late 90s, it was available in like less than half the states. That's crazy. Like the way it's grown and the way they've grown it. Like you talk to like a traditional company and they'd be like, "You're crazy. You're gonna spend that much on that."
How did they spend that much money? Where did it come from? Investors? Like,
no, it's got to just be from, you know, they were putting all their resources into marketing. That's got to,
which people don't. People don't do that.
They don't, yeah. And
they literally
the type of marketing they were doing was so different.
Yeah. Who also killed it? GoPro.
Big time.
GoPro came out. The Hero 1, dude. The best video. Like back then, that was
life changing.
Unheard of.
Shook me.
Like completely shook. I can go into the middle of a wave with my camera. Boom. Every single person like on their phones, like on social media saw that video.
Yeah, and then
loved it.
Hero 2, you get the feed on your phone. And it was like that shook me so much further.
Dude. And they're like now they're kind of like now they got some competition going.
Yeah.
Now they caught up. Other brands.
Replay's there.
They throw a drone out, and DJI has got a better drone the next week.
GoPro had a drone?
Yeah, GoPro got a drone out, and then what's bad is that before they were the best, and they threw out their products. This time they do, and then the next week you got competitors.
Yeah.
So now I feel like a lot of people are going through their style, like they're kind of like social media. So now it's getting more popular.
Yeah.
And what do you say like nowadays, like the equivalent of like when it was Red Bull, it was like athletes. When it was GoPro, it was like the videos. Is it nowadays influencers? So like Instagram?
Yeah, and definitely like GoPro even like has their contests. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
They do like the GoPro Hero,
Like put your video.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Post your video, hashtag GoPro contest. Boom. They just got
Dude,
like,
so many
a
people that,
ridiculous
Loads
amount
of free advertisement.
of free hashtag at GoPro.
and all they have to give is
Hashtag
like
ad,
what,
yeah.
10 grand to the winner or something.
Right.
Dude,
which
yeah,
is-
nothing. Dude. Something dumb, dude.
What do they get out of
Care
that?
Package.
One-
Yeah, care package.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to get.
1/100th of a TV commercial is
Yeah,
that cost.
and the dude that won it's like
Pump.
he spent so much money
On
creating
GoPro.
GoPro. Yeah,
And he like
it's
rode his
another-
his mountain bike like every single day for like a whole year, just trying to get that clip.
He quit his job, dude.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. So the ones that do know what they're doing, like GoPro, like the new businesses,
Yeah.
then they're killing it.
So I think we've done a good job of like, I think we've done
We've solved
an
it.
exceptional job of like blowing the brains out, as we like to do. Probably not blowing the brain, but at least like illuminating this side of the industry. How like you have this dichotomy of like really, really good athletes that may not, and we didn't really talk on that, but just different athletes that we know as like, take chess, it's like the purest guy that you can always look at as the professionals will be like, oh yeah, like this guy taught me. He never had a chance, but like he's the best,
Right.
There's always that guy in any sport, right?
Yeah.
And then you have like the hype guys.
Yeah.
They're like the viral people we're talking about. However they got there, they got there. And then they hyped it up and made it palatable. So we're illuminating this like, okay, it's a viral like social media marketing. It's very high paced. Hopefully you're like in LA or around it, or you got to connect. You got to
Right.
plug.
Right. Yeah.
But now like as we wrap this thing up, how can we distill this to people so they know, like at least I'm not an expert.
I think the key to that is adjust. Find don't get comfortable. You can be the GoPro who gets stuck with an old way of marketing, which was amazing in the mid 2000s, but it's not that relatable in 2018. And you got to be able to pivot and move with whatever's working right now. You can't get too comfortable.
Yeah,
That's
like,
my opinion.
Pivot.
like a lot of like maybe like not even like big brands like GoPro. I think a lot of just all around new businesses are getting, like beaten by the guys that are looking for new ways to advertise.
Right.
Look like taking over. Maybe just because the new people are coming in. New people are going.
So were you going to say something else?
No.
Okay. Well, what do you think is like, all right, if I'm because we said a lot here, and a lot that like probably resides around the fact of like, you got to be on the other side of the majority. Think about Mark Twain, right? That's probably like a takeaway, I guess.
Right.
Because if you are following what's out there right now, you've already missed the train.
Right.
You've already missed it a little bit. Unless it's one of those siphons that you're just like, yo, hop on board now. That's the only time. Rarely ever happens.
Yeah.
I would say for the most part, you gotta like Gymkhana. Don't do Gymkhana.
Right.
I was gonna bring this up. I just remembered it, but one of the Grand Tour episodes, Jeremy Clarkson does Farm Kana, and he literally takes an STI. It's great, dude. It's great.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, and he like when it shows the first clip of like what would go on YouTube, it's kind of good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's kind of good.
Yeah,
And like he
watch
does some shit that's like they put some funny stuff in there a little bit, but some of it you're like, yo, he's kind of like hauling ass into that corner. He like pits it sideways, makes it right in between two like posts that are like in breaking the wall where a tractor would go through, and then he like herds all these sheep like drifting. It's like a great idea.
It is.
And they like totally like made it badass. It even like cut to shots of him like clutch shifting, heel
And
towing,
the whole deal.
and like they go then into the background of like no, like Hammond and May are like, no, let's see like the backup clips, like everything that didn't get published. And it's seriously like way too much footage.
Really?
Yeah, like
Hilarious.
yo, like he literally like starts it with like, yo, can we get shots right now of me like while I'm just sitting here and getting fitted, of you taking like of the pedal box of me doing heel toe downshift and like clutch in, upshift it, and like
Trying to make it look like
yeah, and like one time he does like some stupid like double brake, throttle, clutch, brake, and like it looks crazy trick like on the video. I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah,
But like if it's like action packed, you're like, oh yeah,
It's like the
brake,
the 12 gear gearbox.
Yeah, Fast and Furious, like clutch kicker
Nobody's
thing.
gonna question that except for
Yikes,
us,
thank
but
God.
like
Yeah.
everybody's gonna love that.
Yeah, they loved it.
Loved
They
it.
loved it. And then like I didn't even really notice like the rear bumper was kind of like dented halfway through the video.
And
So
it
there's like a
wasn't
lot
earlier.
of parody issues
Yeah.
because he literally like you see like 3 different outtakes of him sliding into a wall
Yeah.
and just clobbers it. Another time he's supposed to send it into a donut and it just understeers into the fence. Like this is great.
I need to watch that.
And it's literally like, I think the point of it is to set an example of like, okay, you're seeing Gymkhana, but like you haven't seen
The back work.
what it took to make Gymkhana.
For sure, yeah.
You know, and like like, it's not this holy god of a driver. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it never mentioned Ken Block, never mentioned anything like that. It literally just titled it Farm Kana.
You just kind of get the impression.
You get the impression, and it's like, and maybe some people take it differently, like Jeremy Clarkson is a shitty driver or something. But I think for the most part, he has an idea of how to drift.
Right,
You know,
for
like
sure.
he gets it. He's just like, that shit, sliding through 2 fence posts, going through the sand. I don't care who you are.
It's gonna go wrong eventually.
It's gonna go wrong. You're gonna bet. And like, he literally at the end, like, yo, I want to jump this thing. Like, doesn't get enough speed and just banks it into the river.
Yeah.
And they're like, at the end, he's driving an Acura, which is probably, they're just being stupid, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, they're great.
Gotta see that.
Gotta see it.
I gotta see that one.
End rant. But I want to talk about how we can talk about, like, if I'm a young driver, social media, you know, like, how do I approach it now? If we did, in fact, like, really mess with someone's mind on this about, like, everything that's going on in the background, people are, like, really, they're going for it on this. How do we at least give a little bit of action steps? They don't have to follow it or not, but you being a social media expert, analyst, person, what would you, I guess, recommend for someone to focus on? Because there's so many different platforms. So many people have different ways, philosophies of going about it. What do you, like, I guess, recommend?
I think like not only like for athletes and not only like for anything, it's just keeping like, even if you have like 5 fans, you got to keep them updated. You got to keep them updated, and then that'll turn into 6 fans. That'll turn into 10 fans. That'll turn into 20.
Right.
Right. So like, even like to grow that, like I've seen like even like drivers, like for example, because I follow like racing pages, and I get ads like because they run ads through those pages of a random guy I've never heard before, but maybe I'll look at him and be like, this guy's kind of cool, and then he'll grow,
Mad Mike.
he'll grow 1 more follower. No, like Mad Mike, I completely 100% saw his like build at SEMA. That I knew that he was trying to push more than like just his driving. Like he's not like the best. Like I even like watch his races. He's not the best. Like he never finishes. Like he never wins anymore. Like ever since he got like a Miata, he's like hasn't been like top dog. But still, like the videos they make of him, the image he portrays is like what sticks to the people, and he updates us always. Like he always just a cool clip. So it's like I want to follow him.
Because he updates.
I want to follow his career, yeah. Because he updates, he posts like regularly, cool content. So I think that's half the part.
He's on it.
He's on it.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter if you have 5 fans or 5 million. Treat it the same.
Yeah.
Like it goes back to like the Logan Paul like throwing milk at the ground when he had no followers. Like keep at the grind. You know, like don't just because you don't have a huge following. You know, keep at it, keep chipping away, and eventually, you know, with consistency and stuff, it's almost like it's an algorithm. You'll gain following, and that'll lead to brand deals, and that'll lead to opportunities.
Right.
Yeah, and like growth is like super important for some athletes, and like for example, like Torstein Horgmo won the X Games snowboarding, and then he took advantage, started growing all his YouTube. Got a documentary out like of his life, and then boom, he grew.
So he just went for it
Huge.
after he got success.
Yeah, he got success.
Wow.
And he took it like for granted. Like he took it and ran with it.
Yeah. Which is kind of at least in the racing world, is the exact like opposite of what.
Yeah. Well, I think in racing you have a lot of bad days, and it's really tough to like post a lot. Like when you
Glorify
win,
it.
you post a lot of like, so good, like good times, preparing for my next race now, testing, so good, everything's good.
Positive.
When
yeah.
it's like you finish P12th, it's like take cover, be quiet.
What should I say?
But don't be like that. I think like that's the difference. Like Ken Block doesn't have bad days. From the media point of view,
He's
you
just
can
a
only
good driver.
You can see the good days and the smiles and the good times, and like pitched it into a fence, and it was fun, and it was rolled the car and good times. But like I think
landed
it, and that's advice I should have used too. Like I remember when I had bad weekends, I'd disappear, and then my next race is in 4 weeks, and it was all quiet up until that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you got to stay out there. As from a brand point of view, if you if you're a race car driver that caters to intense race fans that only want to see the extremely good lap, you're catering to a really small audience. If you cater to the masses like these guys, you'll be a lot more attractive.
Like Jeff Gordon.
To follow,
Jeff
to get
Gordon.
Sponsored, to, instead of having a $100,000 reach, 100,000 people reach, you'll have a 10 million person reach,
right?
Which is valuable.
Yeah, and so I think like for younger guys, I've seen it with a couple, like not a couple, but enough where I'm like, okay, I get the trend. Where like younger karters are like, like going up like in the heat race, or like let's go back like in practice, like my chain, the sprocket thing.
Yeah,
and then like qualifying, I was fourth, but we had like carburetor, I should have turned like the high speed, like little high speed, and then heat race 1, and then like heat race 14, I was 17th, but then made it back for the pre-final. It's like,
and finished
like
6th, 74 tenths behind.
And it's like, cool. Like I understand your weekend now, kind of. But I also think like there's some excuses in there.
Could have been easier to digest.
There's too many times where I can form opinions about what happened during your weekend rather than just like experiencing the fact that you do race. There's much more fans to be had, or followers, or just people interested in racing when you race, rather than if you're like bitching or being excited about your results.
What about this? Would this make sense? Like we kind of talked about earlier, but like less announcements, like less like I finished 5th in the heat, 6th in the final, 4th in qualifying. More like of me doing it. More like more doing rather than those announcements.
Totally.
I think that's a good little, and that'll keep you active no matter if you finished 32nd or you won. Just document the moment.
I finished 32nd, period. When's the last time I saw that caption?
I think I posted that one time. No joke.
But they're like,
I finished 32nd.
As well as like, I think there's like 2 different types of like athletes, of drivers. As drivers, like there's the guy going for the whole picture, and then there's the guy going to get to the number 1 spot as soon as possible, as quick as possible.
Right.
So maybe he might not be in karting, like pumping it up, like
probably not in karting. The guy we're probably talking about isn't in karting. If we're talking about racing, right?
Yeah. Well,
right.
I mean, like the guy, like the underdog, kind of. Trying to like just grinding out.
Just grinding it out.
And he doesn't care about like the image.
Right. Yeah.
Nowadays he has to.
Nowadays, it's like it's a lot to think about. That's why like we kind of hail the 70s as a great racing
because it didn't
period.
Exist.
There was no side of it like you have to be like very good on social media.
But I'm sure there was things that there were. They're really good at like
partying.
No, but like relations with like the Marshes in the UK and the Kings and the there was something. It wasn't all
You probably had to be at a higher socioeconomic status for sure. And in that era, I mean, come on.
Kind of like James Hunt in that movie. That's kind of like kind of what we're able to see just because it's a movie. But like he had a great relationship with a wealthier guy who
was also
him
wealthy
enough to move up with him, and there was definitely different things back then. And I think now anybody with the will and the grit can make an image out of themselves. Maybe not make it to Formula 1, but make an image out of themselves to do something cool.
Yeah,
whether that's scootering or racing.
Birds.
Yeah, you can use it to your advantage for sure. If you're a marketable dude and you're, able to do that kind of stuff, you'll get some sort of following, and that'll lead to brand deals no matter what. That's the opportunity we have nowadays. You have 20,000 followers, you'll get brand deals.
Which is exactly replacing commercials.
It is, yeah, for sure.
And then think about like the future ahead. Who watches TV? No kid. Like,
adults, yeah.
Yeah, like random, like it's literally like a YouTube video gets more plays than like some TV shows.
Yeah,
so the YouTube
crazy, right?
the YouTube guys are getting paid like what like TV should be paid.
Yeah, like CBS.
Yeah, like it's crazy how things are changing and
just
like,
be ready to adjust.
I was watching because I was watching the AFC Championship game, and so it was playing commercials from like CBS. And like there is definitely a target market for like type people that are watching like NCIS. Because like it's not the people that are interested in Stranger Things. I don't think.
It's not. It's like all the medicine commercials.
And and then like when like the people watching NCIS, like it was totally an emotional appeal to like these guys are heroes. You know, like it was like a guy, like one of them is just, he's a bigger dude, just linebacker status. And he just like straight up tackled like some tiny like guy biking across like the thing, probably robbed a bank. I don't know. But like he tackled him. Is like, these guys are like heroes, like watch them. And it was just like, yeah, that's a specific type of like thing. You're just watching to like not pay attention to anything for an hour. I mean, maybe NCIS has good actors, but like, it was just like, wow, this is like, I think Netflix is so good, you know, like the shows, like we get hyped, like Black Mirrors. We're talking about Black Mirrors today.
Yeah.
How like it just goes in your brain. You can't get it out of your brain.
Yeah. They just,
the way you engage with the show.
And they definitely,
crazy.
Like
it's good stuff.
They definitely like fulfilled a need. Netflix did.
Yeah.
Like no longer do you need to go on TV, record your show, pay a ridiculous amount for your cable.
Right.
Like that's like just what we're seeing. Like with Uber, taxis are almost out.
Kind of what Instagram is.
It's just the new
there.
thing.
It's easy.
Spotify,
it's easy.
Spotify Music.
They're all easy.
Boom.
Yo, what I don't get though is that how is like a Netflix? Some shows are pretty specific. It's like not in, like I can really pick out the type of person when I see an NCIS ad, specifically NCIS, like go to that one.
You love
like,
that, don't you?
It was just like, man, it was like, okay, I get it. But with some of the shows from Netflix, I don't really like, that's very specific. I think it's very tailored to what I would like, you know? And I guess I didn't realize there was that many people out there that would.
Yeah.
So they're in like a form of communication now where like people are just on board with Netflix. And so they can now have the creative like capacity to be like, all right, it's now time to like put the stuff out there that we couldn't before because we were regulated and everything by like these different productions. Whereas like what we're talking about is kind of watering down the nuances of it in order for people to just digest it in a much broader, like palatable session. For you know, like a minute and a half video of drifting where it's just a lot of tire smoke and engine noise and like pollution.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas like Netflix has gotten to the point where they hit the mark of like now we can dive into stuff. And they go into stories that like I'm really interested in, but I wouldn't have given it the chance for the most part on
if
like
it wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's accessible.
It's accessible and then it dives into nuances. Where like I think racing is behind it. It's like for whatever reason it missed the mark, and it's now like it's just somehow behind, and it's like we're not going to get to the nuances thing for a long time. I don't know if it just requires like some form of the sport for people to grasp onto. I don't really know, but
yeah, there's a lot of these things there's not like a perfect answer to. You know, things are changing. We're finding our own, you know, way to make it, and there's a lot of stuff I would have applied nowadays. Back then if I would have known it, but. Yeah, I think our job is just to, you know, adjust and figure out what we can learn from anything to try to find the next thing that can make us the next Ken Block or Tiger Woods or Tony Hawk, whatever that may be. And you might see that coming through Netflix. You might find ideas coming through different business ventures that'll help you or different entertainers, you know, see what people are doing. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Do you think Speed Channel was like
the dinosaur Speed Channel?
Dinosaur.
But like if I was a racing channel,
Was it at
Yeah.
the
It's
end?
like NFL Network.
I
Oh,
think,
that's true.
I think
You're
they had,
right.
like,
It wasn't.
They had like opportunity, don't you think?
Yeah.
And then
How did they? Who sold that? Bob Varsha, right?
I don't know.
Bob Varsha was the guy.
I don't know
He
the
owned
story
stakes
there.
in it or something. He owned a big part. That's why he couldn't go to NBC. But it's like they had something,
Yeah.
Definitely, they definitely had it there.
and then they had Meekum Auto Auctions.
All day.
But then you would go on.
What's the other
and
one?
it'd
Barrett
just be
Jackson.
Pink slips.
Yeah.
Yeah,
24/7 pink
And like
slips.
real racers are
like,
like,
I'm out. No, even like, dude, I feel like actually, nah, I feel like the normal people would be pumped about.
They'd be so
pink slips,
pumped.
but they had a niche. That's the thing.
Yeah, they
Yeah, but
definitely
as
destroyed
TV
it.
got more expensive and that the amount of racers was too
Out.
small to host that.
Why can't you start playing classic races from the 70s?
I just think people won't watch it, you know. The mass
Really?
market. We'd
Yeah,
watch it. We'd love to watch it.
But I don't think the Speed Channel audience is a mass market.
I know, but Speed Channel had to change what their mass audience was to survive.
Yeah,
So
they-
like there's a lot more people willing to watch Pink Slips, watch a Cadillac versus a
100%.
with
Yo.
a 10 length
Had to be
difference
done.
at the start than to watch a 70s race.
It had to be done.
That's true. Yeah, it did.
They definitely had to start like
Yeah,
Pink
they had to
Slips.
adjust to
restoring
survive.
classic cars, like barn finds, fake barn, like you know what I'm
Let's
talking
place a
about?
little Ferrari
Yeah,
dyno
like
here,
dust it up.
No, yeah,
Like, put
dust it
dust.
up, like
but not too much.
warehouse battles. What was it called, dude? Like, storage fights.
Storage wars?
Yeah, and
Storage
then,
fights.
and then they open it and there's like a
Lambo.
Ferrari like dying. Or what was it for like the
Mixed with some like cabinetry.
But even them, they had to adjust to survive. You know, that's at the end of the
Dude,
day
I
what
think
we're learning.
if Apple TV was around when Speed was there, they would have had something.
Yeah,
Because it's not the
cheap
same.
to host too.
Yeah, it's cheap to host. Your online streaming.
Like Netflix, you can have that stuff on there without it costing you a channel. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it can always be there for the people that want it, and the people that
Yeah.
don't want it.
That's a big difference, right?
It's a big difference.
Because
yeah.
like those channels before, when they're on like cable like that, 8 to 9, there's only one show
right,
people are watching.
That's
They're not.
it.
They can't watch anything else. It's not
Yeah.
even possible.
that's got to be a big change.
That's
it's
yeah. I haven't
got to
really
be an
thought about it.
opportunity for them too.
I haven't thought about it in that way before. You know, that's very big.
Yeah,
Did was Supercross on Speed right before it went out?
I don't think so. Huh?
They missed
I can't remember who had the rights for that at all.
because if they would have got that, that would have been it. That would have
Yeah,
it would have
but
been
I-
back in.
I can still find Supercross like now and then. TV.
ESPN.
Yeah,
They're on
Yeah.
there. They're killing it. Yeah.
yeah. So NBCSN took over like
Yeah.
what did they what is that deal? NBCSN, they're able to like tap into just a people that like sports audience,
Right.
people that like things moving. You know,
Yeah, and then just the racing guys will go there as a
Every now
result.
and then.
Yeah, as a result.
and then every now and then you'll get like the golfers,
Yeah, just big sports in general.
and that works out.
Apparently,
Apparently, everyone's like, NBCSN at whatever time.
and a lot of it's like through the phone, through like apps, through all this stuff.
Dude, how does TV
they're
even
adjusting.
survive?
Dude, it's not, dude.
It's not
It's on
for
its
long,
way down,
maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, there's
see.
no way.
We'll see.
100%.
Dude, with that point you made,
Yeah,
like
interesting.
the difference between like at any given time when you're on Netflix, how many different shows are being streamed at one
Yeah.
time versus
One
one
option.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you got.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I don't know. I guess factor in a time zone, you can get 3 different shows, maybe, depending on how long. But still,
Getting complex here.
getting yeah. Anyways, we'll wrap it up.
All right. A lot of good points.
Do you have
here.
parting thoughts, Mr. Alon, with the social media game? Because I think you can offer a very guiding word here with these young, and not just for Carters.
Yeah.
I called them out. There's a few of them. I
Little
mean,
dudes.
yeah, little dudes. And I get it. I probably would have done the same thing had I had Instagram platform then, right?
Yeah.
Probably would have done. It's just saving you from yourself. You're like entrenched in this sport. All you care about is results. So you post about it. You want to tell people like, yo, maybe I did finish 14th, but it's not, I didn't.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. It's the car. Like we ran way stiffer axle. It's not the same.
So what's your words to shape their lives?
No, I'm
All
just, like,
important.
not even like just for the Carters and
Yeah. Extremers.
whatever. Yeah. Like everyone's like adapting to like the changes, and like even I have friends like who like scootered. Like,
Yeah.
what is
They're
the
pretty
audience for
hyped.
scootering? Probably like not big, right? But they start off, they kick it off, and then they blow up, and then they have like careers, dude, from that, and now they act. And for example, boom.
So they don't even do
Not-
scootering anymore?
No, like yeah, they're into scootering for their 5% audience, which started it all.
But they're
Because
so broad
that's
now.
what social media is. You have to get the ball rolling.
Right.
You have to get started.
And
Because-
when he had 5 people, he was still posting every day.
Yeah. And
Like,
the
hopefully.
guy with 5 views, there's a million of those guys that are gonna start and they're gonna stop. And even like for like a racer, like he's gonna be like
14th.
yeah, maybe
lot of
not
those days.
yeah, and then he's gonna stop posting and then he's maybe not gonna grow his audience like that. And not gonna keep going,
Yeah,
grow his
keep
image
chipping away.
bigger than just racing.
Keep doing stuff.
The next person that listens to this episode and then finishes 32nd, I want to see.
I finished 30 seconds.
Period. No hashtag, no like engage, like
Yeah.
just this is what I
even
did.
like I finished 32nd. Here's a fat edit, like
of me
here's a
wrecking 19
fat drift.
people.
Like here's a fat drift.
It's like he did finish first. He got penalized
Yeah,
30.
hype it
Yeah.
up. Do cool stuff.
Yeah, and it's
Hype
not
it
even
up.
like just for like individual people. Like
Yo,
it's
and
for everything.
go to these guys' accounts for those hype up videos. I freaking
Hit us
love.
up.
I oftentimes,
brand.
if I'm feeling down, I'll go to Georgie's page and like go to that oversteer
best
video.
one.
Oh, so good.
It's so great. We've all experienced it as a driver, and so it was very relatable.
It was a bad day at the office.
It was a bad day at the office, and like, not a good day. Like things are
horrible.
happening because of this day. You know, like it's impactful. Yeah, he just like took it and was like, this. It was great, and I think you did the edit.
Yeah, no, you did that.
Yeah.
That
Really?
weird one, that iMovie one.
Yeah.
iMovie.
Put every filter
The
possible.
ripple effect.
He just dragged in like one like color changer.
That was
Yeah, no,
great. Yeah.
But like, I'm like, even like what we get taught as like social media marketers, we get taught to go and destroy like the old ways. Like we get taught to go and pitch what we can provide and like destroy like what like the old people were doing in the newspapers, in the commercials, in the billboards.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like we like get taught to like tell them, hey, this like random old way of marketing is gonna get you 80 views a day. I'm gonna target 500 in 5 minutes for $5
Yeah.
with this Facebook ad, exactly to the people who you want to look at you. So whoever's not keeping updated with the new ways is just falling behind. And in the future, it's not going to be just boom, he's good at racing. It's going to be he's good at racing. He's got the image. All the kids are looking at him. Like Travis Pastrana.
He's got 100,000 followers. He must be good.
Yo, his AdWords are dialed.
Yeah.
Dialed
everything.
to
Well,
a
they don't have
T.
to know that. You know, they
don't
just
know
see the
anything,
big
dude.
picture.
They wouldn't know
They
that,
just
but
see the
maybe
big
we
picture,
do.
Yeah.
You just see a guy right there.
You just see a guy. That's true.
Yeah.
You don't
see
see
the
the
face.
Google AdWords account.
No.
I wonder if you can
Bucky
make that possible.
Lassick, skater, goes to rallycross. He's cool. All the kids,
He's lit.
he drives cars. They don't know further than that.
They don't. You don't think people know that he skated?
Oh, they do, but they
The
don't
supplement of
care.
the
They
racing.
think that the change was this easy. They think it was just a piece of cake. Ooh, he went hopped in a car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like,
And he did. He made the transition well from
Yeah.
skating. I mean, they're not even the same, but like, kind of, but like not.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like from my experience, like what I've heard,
Right.
like they like for racing, they don't know what's deep in.
Dude, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, he was so big. All the other pro skaters were in his game.
I know.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
crazy.
Like Bob Burnquist. And, you know, like he would play these characters on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater
on
8
his game.
Underground. I think he even created like a different variation of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tony Hawk's Underground,
Underground.
1, 2, 3. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's like Need for Speed at a different level. They should have made a
nuts.
movie about that. If it was in this time, he would have like 3 documentaries. We're gonna end on that.
Yeah, good talk here. I feel like this
good.
is one that could go on for a while.
it really could. You can expand that. It's like I was just thinking, like
Yeah,
with
hopefully that,
newspaper, you can't click a link.
Yeah. No.
There's nothing there.
Hopefully that helped for just blow your guys' brains a little bit and give you guys a different perspective.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Be open to perspectives.
Yeah.
That would be my closing statement. Just be open to look at things from every perspective.
Yeah.
Any perspective you have on marketing is gonna get shook if you come here. That's what I found. It's like, dang,
you,
I feel I'm always behind. Like I'm just like, damn, like I gotta catch up.
It's hard, yeah.
Gotta go ask them a bunch of questions.
You gotta ask a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
You gotta ask about. That's a good point.
Don't be ashamed of that. You know, you gotta ask. That's how everybody learns.
Right. All right, we're out. I don't know what happened there.
Sounds good. All right.